Hey everyone, if you're watching this, happy Halloween. As you see with me, I have three gentlemen of horror of all facets. I have Mark from Mortar Heads, he makes masks. I have Ben from Fright Rags, he does horror fashion, t-shirts, pants, hats, stuff. And then I have Edwin, who does Gravely Unusual magazine, as a quarterly horror slash unusual content magazine. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah, pretty close.
They were all nice enough to join me to just look at some old commercials, get nostalgic about Halloween and horror stuff. Before we begin, I want to actually give you guys a quick sneak peek of the Halloween special I was just talking about for TV show Johnson that 2 out of the 3 of you were in. It's a 6-second preview, so please enjoy.
Beef.
No.
Eggs.
Help.
Wilford Brimley.
Mark Summers.
Meatball.
There you go.
Nice.
That'll be. I think by the time this is out, that'll already be out. So look for that somewhere online on YouTube.
That's great.
Yes, and in case you're wondering, the black metal gentleman who yells Wilford Brimley, that was Edwin.
That was me.
And Ben is the voice of the meatball jack-o'-lantern.
Meatball, yeah.
That's right.
That was scary, man. That was actually like pretty nightmarish.
You're going to spaghetti hell.
Yeah, it was like some Clockwork Orange kind of
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. No one's getting murdered with a giant
dildo.
Dildo, yeah. That's no classier way to put it than that.
No, there's...
All right, so the first, I tried to like kind of theme the question. They had questions about and theme with them like in categories loosely. But to start things off, I just some general questions. I'm curious to know what your favorite horror movies are in 3 realms. Your favorite all time, your favorite black and white, and your favorite about the past 10 or 15 years. We go for the sake of order, we'll go clockwise. We all see the same thing. I'm on the left. So it'd be me, Mark, Ben, and Edwin. We all see the same pattern.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
So Mark, you go first.
All right. Favorite all-time Halloween 3. Favorite black and white. Probably Bride of Frankenstein. And last 15 years. That's tough. Maybe Witch.
That's a good one.
I know there's another one, but I can't think of it at the moment.
Which is good. All right.
Yeah.
And then Ben.
So my favorite horror movie in any movie of all time is Halloween. That's always going to be the very top of everything. Black and white. I originally had The Wolfman down, and then I realized I really think my favorite black and white film is Night of the Living Dead. I have to say. And then in the last 10 to 15 years, I mean, there's been a ton of great stuff, but the one that I can recall within that time frame when I saw it and went, holy, shit, where's this been my entire life is Trick or Treat.
Yes.
I just remember seeing that with friends and being like, wait a minute, like this has everything I've ever wanted in a movie, and I watch it every year, and honestly Krampus too, but Trick or Treat is definitely it for me.
All right. Yeah, your favorite checks out from last year, by the way, for Halloween. So you're
well,
safe.
Yeah, that's never going to change. That's been my favorite since I was a kid. So 4 years old,
And also Night of the Living Dead, 2 for 2.
Night seat. Boom.
Congratulations.
Good.
Man, this is like such a hard question because I know it's gonna.
Hey, I offered the questions in advance and you said no.
I know. And I feel like
you.
a dumbass now. I'm like, oh, fuck. Like right when you said name your favorite like horror movies, I was like, oh no, I'm like getting anxiety over here. But okay, so if I have to just there's a whole bundle I could pick from. So I guess my favorite horror movie of all time. Man, it's so tough. Man, I'll say Night Beast, alien movie, 80s alien movie. Let's see,
that one.
It's really good. Black and white, Carnival of Souls.
Yeah.
And last 15 years is another hard one. I really liked Mandy a lot, so I'll throw Mandy out there if that counts as straight up horror. So
Sure.
yeah.
Why not? I'm gonna go with the Carpenter The Thing, all-time favorite. I like a downer. I go with The Invisible Man for black and white because he's just out of his mind, extremely dangerous. And I really enjoyed Cabin in the Woods
Ooh,
because it's
yeah.
it's just it's a lot of fun.
That's
It's-
another one that's definitely up on the list for
Yeah,
sure.
you got a merman murder in there. You can't beat that. All right, so we gotta view some commercials now, and I have a bunch of food ones because that's I don't know, it's where my mind went. And the first I'm going to show, Ben might know because it was a regional thing. Carvel Cakes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you know the voice and everything?
Yeah.
All right. So the first one, it says Halloween themed cakes that they will put out, and just interesting to note, all their cakes, it was kind of the same shape. They would just turn it and make it. It was like it was a wheel, but they would make it into other things, which is pretty impressive. So here we go.
Happy Halloween! I'm Dumpy the Pumpkin, the fresh ice cream cake made daily at Carvel. And here's my good friend, Wiki the Witch.
Are you having a Halloween party? Go to your participating Carvel ice cream store and ask to see us, Dumpy the Pumpkin and me, Wiki the Witch. Or if you want to send one of us to a friend,
please phone 800-327-GIFT and call the Cake Honors most major credit cards. Thank you.
Thank you.
That dude was a 2-pack a dayer, man.
Oh yeah, you.
Like,
Did you hear Patton Oswalt's bit about him?
he passed away of some respiratory disease, that's for sure.
Yeah,
he was evident in that voice.
But that was every commercial at the end. Please call. Blah, 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 blah. Did anyone notice that the pumpkin's name was actually Dumpy?
Yeah.
I don't know why you choose Dumpy. Okay, so Mark and Edwin, not familiar with Carvel ice cream cakes?
Never heard of it.
Well, isn't there a Beastie Boys song? Oh no, don't they have a song about ice cream cakes or something?
Maybe.
Wait, but Carvel ones?
East
Did they-
Side.
That's another
Think of
East Coast thing, but I have seen that commercial.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, on
Oh.
YouTube. Sometimes I'll
Okay.
just throw on like Halloween commercials for no reason in the background.
Nice. So you've heard that voice. You've heard that raspy voice.
Yeah, that's my
I know
favorite
that
part.
thing.
Any like regional. Because
Oh,
I'm kind
yeah.
of from the Chicago area originally, and every commercial had some kind of regional like bad overdub voice on it. So I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah. Did it make you want to try the Dumpy the Pumpkin ice cream cake? Anyone?
No.
I kind of did. I wanted to call the number and gift it to someone, but I know it's probably disconnected by.
You should
this
call in
time.
to see what happens. Call and see what happens, and then let me know. If you feel free to do it during this recording if you'd like.
It was 197 gift or something, or
I don't even remember.
1-800-197 gift.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna now we got what I feel is a classic Reese's peanut butter cup one, and then I got questions about food.
In the laboratory of Dr. Frankenstein, something incredible was created. The great taste of pure milk chocolate and delicious peanut butter. Unfortunately, no one would listen. And so the world would have to wait for the two great tastes that taste great together in Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Sad.
What year was that?
That was awesome.
I remember that commercial.
I don't know. I think it was
Late
mid to late 80s. I think it was late 80s.
Yeah.
It's sad though. It's heartbreaking.
He's misunderstood. As
Yeah, I mean,
usual.
exactly. I mean, do you think that was taken from like the Mary Shelley story that was never put in the movie, and then it was unearthed, and they're like, "Oh, I had the perfect place to put this."
That was in the
Peanut butter
original
commercial.
draft, I'm sure. So
Yeah, Mary Shelley had this epiphany about combining chocolate and peanut
Would
butter.
you call that Reese's or Reese's Monster then?
I'd call that. Ooh, that's a good question. I'd say Reese's Monster.
Okay.
First official question is when you went trick or treating, kind of two-parter. Did you have a favorite and a least favorite thing that you would get every year, no matter what, edible or whatever?
Least favorite, Tootsie Rolls. except for the flavored ones.
Wait,
And
flavored? Like non-chocolate? Or was that
Like
actually
vanilla.
chocolate?
They had vanilla and they had a couple other flavors, I think, didn't they?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
There's a blue and white wrapper. Yeah.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. Favorites probably like Kit Kats.
All right. I respect the choice.
I go with Kit Kats. No, that's what I heard. Kit Kats are like a whole. You know, if somebody gave you a whole candy bar, no matter what it was, you know that was.
yeah.
that
Did I mention if your candy had a catchy jingle, you had to sing it once you answered?
Does mine have a catchy jingle?
Give me a break.
Yeah, piece of that.
Oh, it's actually singing.
That whole Kit Kat bar.
I was expecting a strong denial, but thank you for playing along. All right, Ben, how about you?
My favorite was always, I mean, this is pretty standard, but Reese's peanut butter cups or Snickers. Runners up would have been for me Almond Joy, Mounds, whatchamacallit, 100 Grand. Those were absolutely up there. Then you start getting into like the Hershey's with almonds and then Hershey's and stuff. But least favorite, probably by far for me, was Bit O' Honey. I know some people like it. I was just never a fan. It's almost like a Tootsie Roll, but it's like a honey flavored Tootsie Roll, but it's harder.
Like stick to your teeth.
Yeah, I just was never a fan. And then I will say Tootsie Rolls as well, only because it was you go through the good stuff first and you get to the second and third tiers, and then you get like these fourth, fifth stringers, and it's like that's not chocolate, but it'll do. So you kind of have to get.
Do you actually say that's not chocolate?
You're sort of like, all right, I guess I'm gonna eat that before the Smarties or whatever. I guess that's the only other chocolate I have left, but it's not really chocolate. I like the Tootsie Pops, but the Tootsie Rolls, for whatever reason, I would eat them and they were okay, but not my favorite. But Bit O' Honey, man, I was like, no, what? By Easter, I would still have Bit O' Honey in my treat bag, and I would just toss it and forget it.
All right, Edwin.
Favorites were always like if you got like a Warhead or like Sour Patch Kids.
Oh, you go that direction.
Yeah,
you're one of those.
Yeah,
No,
you don't know. Sometimes like it's rare you'll get like a sour candy because most people, it's like some people are like, oh, they don't like sour candy or they give them sour candy. So yeah, when you get a sour candy, you got a good house. You got someone that's kind of edgy on the edge.
Like a spree house.
Yeah. So then you get to like your worst stuff, and there's a lot of like older people, and I live in the exact same neighborhood I've lived in my whole life. So it's like you've got like just a whole bunch of old people on this block, and you get like those fucking like caramel chews or the Werther's originals. That's been there in a fucking bowl
in their little dish for like.
Yeah, they're like, oh, these goddamn kids. Like, here you go.
That's the person. Oh shit, it's Halloween.
Yeah. So there you go. Or those little like they're like little like they're kind of like the Valentine's candies, but they're just so standard and plain.
Chalky, like Necco wafer.
Yeah. So get that shit out of here. I'd always pissed when I got that.
My daughter's friend's parents, her dad has a brilliant idea. He has the cheapest, oldest ass Valentine's candy that he keeps and the good shit. So when someone comes up and trick or treats, if they don't have a costume and they're just trying to trick or treat, he gives them the bad candy.
There you go. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's brilliant. You really have to kind of have tiers of who you're giving out what to in some cases, We're the big candy house. We always give out the big bars. So, because I want to be that house. I want to be talked about. I want to have that lore about us. Like, you got to go to that house. But I think I might have to have a stash of some really nasty candy to give to some kids who think like a white T-shirt's gonna be their costume. Like, no. I have no problem giving you free candy, but put some effort into it. So yeah.
My grandmother used to give out silver dollars.
That's brilliant. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, she lived on a terrace and didn't get many, so it was okay, physically speaking. But yeah, but I go peanut butter cups. Reese's peanut butter cups and Reese's Pieces too.
Oh yeah,
I like Reese's Pieces. I mean, and pretty much anyone who gave a full bar, I got big respect for the full bars. But But yeah, I was never a fan of the chewy stick to your teeth stuff. But also, I was gonna say Necco wafers. The Smarties were okay. They were sweeter, not as chalky, but the Necco wafers. Oh, there goes my cat. Sorry.
Yeah, Necco had no flavor. Necco, I should say, had no flavor. It was just bland chalkiness, and it was like
yeah. I'm from Massachusetts. I'm still here, and I used to live closer to Boston, and I used to go to see shows in Cambridge or Somerville, and the Necco wafer factory was there, and you'd smell like the chalky sweet weirdness. And you go because you were like down the block from like several clubs that were prominent, so you were always like, I can smell the Necco in the air. It's
that's like dollar store Willy Wonka right there, right?
Yeah, it was.
No one wants to own the Necco wafer factory.
I'm willing to bet. Have we all seen Bloodsport here?
Yeah.
I think at the end when he has that pill in his belt and he throws it in Van Damme's face, but it was a Necco wafer that he turned to powder and threw in his eyes because it was just so terrible. That's my guess. I also forgot to ask, what'd you use for to put your candy in? I think it's very important as a kid. What'd you use?
We always started with when we went trick or treating, we used a pillowcase.
Yeah, pillowcase. The big.
That's the sturdiest. And then usually when you got home, then you would kind of put it in one of the various trick or treat bags you would get and just kind of whittle it down from there. Because you had to put the pillowcase back on your pillow, probably. I'm assuming.
Maybe keep something in there for later.
I did sleep with my candy once, so no one would steal it. And when I woke up, it was all melted. Very bad idea.
I was spooning your chocolate.
Now I used a pillowcase trick or treating mostly, but my mom would make us trick or treat bags. So she would get fabric from Joint Fabrics, and she would sew them and do little bands and stuff. You could cinch them stuff. So
that's pretty.
I think a couple of years we did that too, but it was usually a pillowcase, and I think I actually just kept it in the pillowcase. I was like, whatever, that's my candy case, whatever. I don't know. I just know that I used to have a pillowcase full of candy literally through probably, like I said before, Easter or something. I still had something, left over. But so it was. I think it just kind of got that pillowcase was officially became a trick or treat bag.
Nice, Edwin. You better say pillowcase.
Pillowcase all the way.
All
man.
right.
It held the most. You could get the little jack-o'-lantern trick or treat dudes.
Yeah.
No, those are cool, but they look good. But they just don't. They're not there for the whole ride. You
gotta
cut your trick.
Well, my son has one of those. He has the black one, but I bring a backpack so he can dump and then.
Yeah. You got
reserves.
To. But and then it would last if you got the pillowcase. It would last almost the whole year. Until. At least this, halfway through the school year, get home from school, you still got a bag of candy to throw in your mouth, So
I never lasted that long. I guess I was a fucking pig.
I would eat until I literally puked, man. So I mean, yeah.
Well, you guys just talking about yesterday, not even Halloween. You just gorge yourself.
Yeah.
All right, a couple more food ones. I can't pass up some of the classic the monster cereals, and so here we go with some of those.
Frankenberry cereal is coming your way. How about a monster for breakfast today?
Want a hanky-franky?
Thanks. And how about some wonderful Frankenberry cereal with oodles and oodles, a strawberry-flavored marshmallows. And Frankenberry is part of this good, nutritious breakfast. Here comes Count Chocula. Wish you could stay. How about a monster for breakfast today?
Now, what I like about this, when he plays a sympathy card, it makes him feel bad, and he's like, "Here, buy this cereal."
It'll make him happy.
Yeah, but they do. I like how they continue with the whole misunderstood thing, no matter what kind of Frankenstein you're looking at.
That's pretty interesting, yeah.
And I thought the animation was pretty good too. That was '86 that came out.
Oh wow.
I'm hoping that we all eat these types of cereals. Did you have a favorite amongst the monster ones?
Actually.
What's that?
I had Frankenberry this morning, actually.
Ooh, nice. Do you think it tastes the same as it did 30 years ago, 40 years ago?
Probably not, but I can't tell. Anyway,
Yeah.
My taste buds are so destroyed at this point.
It's good enough.
It tastes like Frankenberry, so it's just I'll eat it.
Is the milk
It's really
still pink at the
only
end?
cereal I'll eat. What's that?
Is the milk still pink at the end?
Not really.
See, there's something. They changed something then.
Yeah, you got to have the strawberry milk and the chocolate milk at the end.
And the blueberry milk too. Yeah.
Blueberry, yeah.
All right, I gotta Count Chocula to show too because that was my favorite of the three. There we go.
Nothing could tear me away from my Count Chocula cereal. Who's that?
Good morning.
The real Dracula.
For real?
May I have some?
You can have mine.
I'll sink my teeth into
What?
the delicious chocolatey marshmallows in Count Chocula cereal.
Oh, yeah. And it's part of this complete breakfast, too. How about the monster for breakfast today?
For real.
Again, I think that looked like it came up at the same time. I would just say 1980s. Yeah, I like them all, but I think Count Chocula. I was a big chocolate guy.
We couldn't get blueberry where I was for whatever reason. We never had blueberry, so we always had Frankenberry and Count Chocula, which I love them both. Probably Count Chocula a little better. So when we went to my grandmother's place, it's about 3 hours north from us, which is a really small town. They always had blueberry, so that was like this forbidden thing. So we would like stock up on it when we were there around the same time of year. We'd always grab like 3 or 4 boxes of it. So it's funny. My mom, up until recently, and I mean recently, probably like last year, 2 years ago, she would always buy me a box of blueberry every year, even though it's readily available anywhere, anytime during Halloween season. She'd still like, I got you the blueberry. I'm like, thanks, Mom.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Edwin, did you have those? You haven't talked about your favorite.
No, I never ate them. Yeah.
Well, you're younger than us.
I mean, I remember them being available, and like my wife, she loves Count Chocula. She's always like, I want to get some Count Chocula. I'm like, oh yeah, we should get it. Like, let the kids have it. I never remember eating them. Maybe when I went to a friend's house, when I'd stay over and they would have it. But I don't think I ever had it at my house. You know what I mean? So. Kind of a bummer now that I think about it. I feel like I've lost a part of my childhood that I never got to get. So
unlock some unsavory memories.
Yeah.
I'm
empty calories.
Yeah. Another food question. Do you have any favorite seasonal foods? Doesn't have to be pumpkin spice, of course, but just because there are other things that come out just around this time
seasonal
of year.
Food. Now. The only thing I can really think of besides the monster cereals, Starbucks has a really good pumpkin muffin with but there's also the Hostess. Like the last couple of years, Hostess started putting out like the spooky cakes and like the orange cupcakes and that kind of stuff. I've been eating way too much of those.
What's this? Is a spooky cake just the same as something else, but made to look like something terrifying?
I think they change it every year. Like now they have, I think it's a pumpkin spice cake Twinkie, and there's like a ghost. It's like a ding dong, but it's all white with Scream filling. So it's all white icing, white cake, white filling.
Did you say Scream filling?
Yeah, Scream filling. That's what it says on the box. And then the cupcakes are just orange. It's chocolate still, but it's orange on top.
Wow,
they taste just the same as the regular ones, but because it's Halloween, they need to buy it.
All right, how about you, Ben? Anything?
I mean, I like pumpkin spice stuff. It's funny. My wife came home from Trader Joe's tonight, and she literally had like bags and bags full of everything pumpkin spice, like everything. Which I'm like, that's a lot, but whatever. I'll eat it anyway. So who am I going to sit here and say that's too much pumpkin spice? I'm going to eat it. Although I'm not one of those guys that has to run out and get a PSL with the second Starbucks drops them. I don't really care. But the one thing that came to my mind, it's funny. It seems like a theme for me tonight, but my mom every year on this time, because I was thinking seasonal, like pumpkin and whatever. She makes pumpkin chocolate chip cookies. It's not always this time of year. It can be because you get canned pumpkin, you get it pretty much any time of year, but it's usually around this time of year. But they're like my favorite things. And then my wife did years ago, she did a pumpkin chicken tortilla soup, but she used the Cinderella pumpkin, and you cut it out and you take the seeds out and you layer it with tortillas and green chilies and chicken, and then you layer the entire pumpkin, and then you put the pumpkin in the oven. And then when you pull it out, you scoop inside, and all the pumpkin comes out with the tortilla and the green chili and the chicken, and it's like this big and cheese. So it's this big, like thick stew chili almost of this stuff. It was like I still dream about it. So
Would you happen to have a recipe? And I mean that.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
really
that sounded good.
It's
Give a recipe, please give it to me.
You just scoop it right out of the pumpkin and put it in your bowl. Oh my
Lord,
god,
that sounds awesome.
it's so good.
Oh, good for your wife.
Yeah, it's a good cook.
Yeah, I got a couple. Mostly dessert stuff. They used to. I don't know if they still make them. There was these like little snack cakes. They might have been Little Debbie or something. They're like shaped like jack-o'-lanterns.
Yeah.
I think they're like a pumpkin flavored one. They're really good. And then there's Pillsbury made those like ready to bake cookies, and they have little jack-o'-lanterns on them.
Yep.
They're just like sugar cookies. So we always get those. But most of all, my grandma, man, she used to make pumpkin rolls. Have you guys ever had those?
No.
Oh my god, dude, the best dessert ever. We actually just got one tonight, and I just kept going back for like seconds. Yeah, it's like you make like a pumpkin cake, and you make this cream cheese icing and like whip it on there, and then roll it with wax paper, and it makes this like roll, and you just like cut little slivers out of it, dude. It's literally the best dessert I've ever had in my life, and I like wait every year for it because you can have it from like the start of fall, until basically Christmas, and then no one makes them anymore. They're just like fuck pumpkin rolls, So
They actually say that.
Yeah, my grandma used to say it all the time, man.
It's December 26th. Fuck pumpkin rolls.
I'd be like, Mama, make another pumpkin roll, and she'd be like, fuck no, it's after Christmas. Come on.
It's just you're like 4. She's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Hate you, pumpkin.
Yeah. Tell it walking. I go with a couple. I like pumpkin bread and pumpkin pie. I have to have those.
Oh, pumpkin pie.
I have to have those at this time of year. But yeah, pumpkin pie especially. My son was asking if we can make one, so I can't wait to try that and see. I think he expects me to like grow a pumpkin and make it from scratch. Though I'm like, now it comes in a can, son. Sorry, but I think he'll still like it though.
I will say my wife makes every Thanksgiving a pumpkin chocolate chip walnut cake. And it's literally like that big. It probably weighs 20 pounds. And she makes several of them because we, different family get-togethers. But that's one thing I absolutely look forward to every year. Like that, when Edwin, you're talking about pumpkin roll, like I think of her pumpkin cake, and I'm like, because it's so dense. I mean, it is like you cut into this thing, and it's just like full of nuts and chocolate and pumpkin, and it's like, oh, this is incredible.
Man, that's another recipe you're gonna have to lay down.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to get another one.
And a kind of a follow-up, I was curious what you think what's the worst thing that you could add pumpkin spice to? I'll tell you mine because I have it already. That potato salad, I think, would be a terrible pumpkin spice.
Oh, God.
I'm sure someone's done it, man. Someone's like,
I'm sure, but I wouldn't.
Halloween party.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe if you added it to like mayonnaise or something, put it on like a
spice
turkey
mayonnaise?
sandwich. That would be pretty terrible.
Yeah.
I don't like pumpkin spice really, so for me it would be anything I added to. I wouldn't really like it.
Just anything? Pumpkin spice water? Nope.
No, like pumpkin spice LaCroix.
Oh.
Well, they had, I would say, like, I haven't tried it. I was going to say dog treats because I just think it's silly. Like, it's like dogs don't give a shit about like, you're doing it for you. You're not doing it for your dog. Unless you can tell me there's some medicinal benefit. That's bullshit. But I saw a thing tonight on, I think it was like TikTok or something. And it was like the guy who tried, he was giving his review on and it's legit. It's that Bud Light Seltzer's pumpkin spice. He's like, yeah, it tasted like 2 pennies had an affair at the bottom of my cup holder in my car. It was like, that is brilliant because that sounds so gross. And yeah, like, blah.
No thanks.
None of that sentence sounds good to me. Bud Light, I mean, I like seltzer, but then pumpkin spice, like, forget it.
You gotta stop at Bud Light. Doesn't matter what comes next.
Exactly.
Yeah, the beer takes the cake, like the cheap beer. But I mean, I know like Pabst Blue Ribbon, they have a coffee. So I can't think of how bad a coffee, beer is. Now I just add some pumpkin spice to a coffee beer. That like a shitty beer, it just makes me sick to think about. So yeah, I'd say that'd be the worst for me is a PBR with pumpkin spice.
Like Pumpkin, which Southern Tier makes their pumpkin beer. They do a coffee version of the pumpkin, which actually is pretty decent. It's not. I don't think I could drink it all the time, but if you had a shitty version of that, like a PBR, I think that would be nasty.
Yeah. I can handle the good beers. Like I'll drink like a good like a craft beer with like some pumpkin and spice in it. Like I'm sure that would be good, but I can't imagine a frothy, mostly foam can of
like Natty Pumpkin.
Oh god, man, it makes me like want to puke just thinking about it.
Ugh. Yeah. Golden Anniversary pumpkin spice.
Ugh.
Miller High Life.
Ugh.
The champagne of pumpkin spice beers.
Man, I like High Life. I couldn't. No way I could do that with pumpkin spice in it.
Nope.
Oh, that. Oh, someone gonna blow up? Is there a truck backing up in someone's home?
They're cooking in the kitchen.
Oh,
and they just burned down the kitchen.
Are they cooking pumpkin spice items that you won't have?
It stopped. It's crisis averted.
All right, I'm gonna move on to some costume stuff now for commercials. So I have a classic Paws makeup one to start with. There we go.
This morning, Billy looked like any other boy, but as the moon rose, he turned into a werewolf. He used new Paws Halloween makeup kits. His friends did too. Look, Mike's a vampire. Amy's a ghost. Paws makeup is safer than masks. It never blocks vision, and it's hypoallergenic too. So watch your kids turn into the creatures they really are with new Paws Halloween makeup kits.
That clown is fucking scary, dude.
I remember that commercial.
Ben was so scary.
I know. I had to run away. I was like, the werewolf freaked me out. I love it. They're just like,
yeah. But they're saying like turn your kids into what they really are. So they're saying your kid's a monster.
Or a clown. Your kid's a clown.
Or a clown. Yeah. Or your kid is actually a ghost. Yeah. I had that vampire one at some point.
Mm-hmm. Well, that vampire blood that tasted somewhat sweet, but you probably weren't supposed to put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or let alone swallow it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that leads me to did you have a two-parter, like a favorite trick-or-treat costume? Then I'm hoping we all dressed as adults at some point. Do you have a favorite costume from your adult life?
Favorite costume as a kid? I always had a problem deciding on a costume. Like I would pick one a month before Halloween, and then I would pick another one a couple weeks later. So I would end up maybe just kind of wearing one for a while, trick-or-treating, and then I would change where the other
wardrobe change during trick-or-treating.
Yeah,
you can go back to the same houses. They'll never know.
Yeah.
I think the favorite costume though, it's tough. Probably did a robot with like a big box with like the kind of dryer vent arms.
Nice. Yeah.
Almost like a Lost in Space robot, but it was a big square box with foil, and like my grandpa would always help me build stuff like that. So that was probably my favorite because you can put your arms inside, and we wear it to school. Because the school you could do Halloween all day long. Mm-hmm. You wear it to school, and you could just put your arms and everything inside the box, and you could just hang out in there, and no one could bother you. And then you could just bust out whenever you wanted. So nice. Probably that's my favorite childhood. For adults, I guess I did Anakin Skywalker, like the reveal, Darth Vader reveal, kind of with the bottom of the mask still in the head, since I'm bald, so I just did my makeup and just put a big scar on my head and stuff like that. And
nice.
The whole family would dress up as like Star Wars. Like, my wife was Princess Leia, and or Amidala, and then my daughter was Princess Leia, and then my other daughter would be R2D2, and they would just kind of all like dress up like that. That was my favorite adult costume.
Nice. Did you were aware that when they at some point on one of the reissues they removed his eyebrows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, I think I just I did somewhere in between. I didn't totally erase them. I didn't shave them off or anything. I just kind of covered them up a little bit.
You didn't just go
At that
full
time,
in
I
and
wasn't going for accuracy. It was more like, oh shit, I got to build the Darth Vader costume from here down. So that was more what I was focusing on.
Yeah. All right.
I would say, again, running theme. My mom used to make me costumes, and I would buy like the Ben Cooper stuff when I was a kid too. But I'm in upstate New York, so it's always cold on Halloween, and it could be snowing as well. So she made me a werewolf costume, and she took fabric from Joanne Fabrics, this big, it was white and black fur, big bolts of it, and she made a full body costume for me. So like when you would dress up and it was cold out, you'd have to wear your jacket and you'd have to like basically cover up your entire outfit. But in this case, my outfit was my jacket, and I put clothes on over it that were ripped, so it looks like I was coming through. And then she made my face up and my hair. That was just brown and black too, so it didn't really match. But it was like the coolest thing because I just felt like I was warm and it felt like I was in a real costume, like I could embody that thing. It wasn't just some plastic sheet I put on me that had the thing I was on it,
Yeah.
I will say that when I was 13, I got my first Michael Myers mask, and that was a 1985 Don Post, the only thing available. And I had to save up my $40. I still have the receipt and the tag that went with it and everything. I had to write over the receipt because everything faded on it. But I kept it in a plastic bag. I would wipe it down every time, put baby powder in it. So it's actually in still a really good condition. But as an adult, dressing up as Michael Myers, I go back and forth between, I have a silicone Freddy mask that I use, that I play Freddy sometimes, and then I have a silicone Frankenstein mask. I'm sometimes Frankenstein, or Frankenstein's monster. But I have, several of Justin Mabry's fan-made, Michael Myers masks, really beautiful masks. And when I dress up as Michael Myers and walk around the neighborhood and scare kids, it's just like everything about my childhood and adulthood crashing together. It's so much fun, because now I'm an adult. I'm in my 40s. I can be Michael Myers, you know what I mean, and walk around as an adult. But as a kid, in my head, I'm like, I'm still like 12, wanting to do the same thing. I look like a bobblehead back then.
I'm glad you mentioned scaring children as part of it. It's nice.
Well, that's it. Like my son last year, like we were with a bunch of people trick or treating. He goes, "Dad, can we just go off on our own and scare some kids?" I'm like, "Yes, let's do that."
Yeah.
So we just took off on our own and started terrorizing people. That's the best. I mean, it's just so much fun. So yeah, playing Michael Myers as an adult is like it's just wish fulfillment at this point.
Living the dream.
Yeah, exactly.
Favorite as a kid, I was the Crow in 5th grade.
Nice.
And before that it was like Ninja every year, and I think after that it was like Scream, Ghostface every year. So I was the Crow that year, and I had like a leather jacket, like an old leather jacket. I painted my face myself. Yeah, it's so and like everybody at school was like, "Who are you, Sting?" And I was like, "No, I'm the fucking Crow." Like, have you guys ever? No one had really watched The Crow at my age then. So, yeah, that was the best kid one. As an adult, last year I was there's two. I was when I was like I think it was. This, I guess, is still a teenager. So, when I was 17, I was Scarlet Spider-Man. So I cut my hoodie. I got a blue hoodie, spray painted a tag on it of the spider, and cut the sleeves off, and put on these tights. I spray painted red, made my own mask and everything. Went to a Halloween party. My friend was the Hulk. Painted his whole fucking body green. So that was a good one. But favorite all time, I was the Invisible Man last year. And that was definitely like the coolest costume I ever pulled off. So,
was it when he enters it first in the movie, or later on when he's wearing the smoking jacket? And
it's first. It's first. Nice. I even got the little nose.
Nice.
I got these like purple dishwashing gloves, and I had like a hat and glasses. I'm gonna try to top it this year. I'm gonna be the Mummy. So if I can top that, that'd be pretty cool.
I thought you were going to say actually invisible.
If I could, I would. But you know what you don't want to wield that kind of power. You're going to try to take over the British Empire,
It rots your brain too. Although you would get to, cause a train to derail and go down a cliff. So that's something to think about.
Yeah.
I'd like to like do like
Yeah.
the goofy scene with the police trying to catch him in the snow. I'd like to do that. Run some police around like oh falling on their asses like some Three Stooges shit.
As long as one of them yells, "What's all this?" Actually, I have a Ben Cooper as a favorite. I had a red devil, like a red and yellow devil. I just looked cool being a devil and all, but it did have a picture of the devil on there besides the mask. But my dad got me a pitchfork with it, which was a nice touch. And then a second one, I had a skeleton one. I was joking with someone else about it recently. It was the skeleton mask, but it was like the vest part was like a skeleton from the waist up, like doing like a kind of thing. But it looked like he was bursting out of the front of my pants. Like he was like my crotch was the grave that he was rising out of. Oh. But as an adult, I did it twice. I was Gargamel, the Smurfs' arch enemy. So I found a very proper hooded kind of like the long black robe. I got the patches, the proper colors in the right places. But I actually shaved my head. I kept it long, but I actually shaved it, and I did this twice in my life.
That's commitment.
It was. I think it was worth it. I think it looked very nice. But the day after, I went to a costume party as Gargamel, and the day after, I didn't fix. I didn't. I kept it as it was, and I wore a hat around. But my friend Kevin and I went to meet Bruce Campbell at a book signing for If Chins Could Kill. And so when it was my turn to go up, I sat next to him, and he's like, "What's your name?" And I was like, "I'm Bill." And I just took my hat off, and I explained what I had done. And he's looked at me, and he's like, as he's sounding, he's like, "Oh, you're very dedicated," but didn't look like he was like about the whole thing. So I was like, "Hey, I freaked out Bruce Campbell. Awesome."
That I have to say that's dedication for a character that's not something that I would imagine people went up to. I mean, I would say more like, "Are you a monk?" You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's amazing. I was just like, wow, that's like it's a little bit slightly obscure for most people. Did a lot of people know who you were?
I don't remember.
Wow.
I don't know.
I mean, it's great. I think it's a brilliant idea for a costume.
Hey, thanks. No, it got, my close friends were aware of it, so
yeah,
that's all. It got a good laugh. So, no, yeah, Gargamel, he's a decent villain.
Yeah,
give him some respect.
How close did you shave Did you use a razor? Like, did you just use a one on the?
I didn't pick it. I just used the clippers as close as I could get, but it was pretty damn close.
Wow.
Actually, I did between Gargamels, I was Beaker one year from the Muppets and let my hair grow out long. Then I shaved around. And actually I had a good foot of hair, like with a lot of products.
What'd you do for your nose?
Oh, I didn't have a nose. That's the one thing I didn't have.
Several times, so it was.
Yeah, I actually got electrocuted once during the night.
Is it big or is it shaved? I can't remember.
I think he had like a Bert style nose.
Yeah. It was was it red or was it just like
orangey? I think.
Yeah.
Orangey. Yeah.
And his mouth was like a
I just went around like frowning and like wide-eyed all night. But I got the lab coat. I got like one size too small plaid pajama pants that came up to my shins, and I had the striped socks, all stars. It worked out pretty well. No gorilla detector though, but oh well. Actually, one more. It's some mask store. Maybe Mark will especially appreciate this. Someplace called Magic Manor. I want to show for a commercial.
The Halloween experts at Magic Manor have everything you'll need this year, including actual character masks from famous motion pictures. And they can show you the proper application of makeup to impress that special someone. Magic Manor's professional hand-painted custom masks start as low as $250. This Halloween, remember Magic Manor. Wigs, masks, makeup, costumes, shockingly authentic. Magic Manor, East Wind Mall.
Hey. Let's all go to the East Wind Mall right now.
I love that name for a mall for some reason. East Wind Mall just sounds perfect.
It's like by the seaside or something.
Yeah.
And it's actually kind of funny that that repeating scream is in there. That kind of ties into the next thing I'll be talking about. But did anyone recognize that scream? Anyone into sound effects records at all?
Well, yeah, I think the haunting sound. What was it? That orange and black one?
The chilling, thrilling sounds.
Chilling. Yeah.
Actually, it's this one right here. I can see it too well.
Yes.
This is actually my dad's but I've kept it because I used to. The next question was if you had anything Halloween or horror related, like from your childhood, that you like still have. That's has like a special connection for like spooky times. And I keep it in a frame because it's old and fragile now. I don't have the spooky party hints anymore, though. I'm sad to say, but yeah, I used to bring that to like school for the Halloween parties and play it on the record player because that's what you record players and overhead projectors and actual film projectors and shit. But yeah, so I play that. I would just sit there and just listen to it all year round. It didn't matter what time of year. But that Scream, there was one side was like just sound effects, and the other side was like stories that would intertwine the sound effects. One of them is insensitive towards Asian people, so which is unfortunate, but that was the 60s, so and I only had one other thing I wanted to share real quick, and actually I do have the book, but I'll bring up the picture because it's easier to see, so I can share the artwork from it. I used to have this book growing up called Haunted Planet. Everyone familiar with that?
No, that looks cool though.
Yeah, there's the faces on it. I mean, there's the one guy lower left looks like he has an asshole for a mouth, but
it's
even more
I'm looking at
terrifying.
Yoda in the upper right, so
Yeah, Yoda is not very happy. But so yeah, that was something that I used to read. But I have the actual copy of that still. I just would stare at the painting because it's so detailed and terrifying for like a 9-year-old to look at. And the stories are kind of scary too. A kid gets stuck in a haunted house, and just as he gets out, some guy comes out and drags him back in. This guy right here, like looks like Lurch.
Lurch, yeah.
But he was a lot more evil than Lurch was. Did anyone have anything like that holds a special place in their heart?
I have. I mean, it's not the actual one I had as a child, but there's the Dick Smith makeup book, which had like the good makeups, but there was like kind of a knockoff one where you like wear like a ski cap and you just put oatmeal on your face, which was kind of close to the Dick Smith, but it was like, it was a knockoff of the Dick Smith one, but it was kind of like a little paperback book. I can't remember the name of it. I have it in my studio, but that one I had as a kid, and I used to always try those makeups and stuff. But I have that. That was when I discovered eBay. That was one of the first things I kind of tracked down was that book.
Nice. Did that kind of push you in the direction of what you're doing now, more or less? Do you think?
Yeah, it was kind of like you get that light bulb. It's like, oh ding, I remember that. Let me track that down. You just kind of look at it and think, oh yeah, I remember doing this stuff.
And you still have it now?
I have the book now. Yeah, it's not the one I had as a kid.
But it's like not the exact same.
15 years or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I know I have some stuff, but I think the thing that reminds me of my childhood the most from Halloween is probably my Don Post mask, because it was that was the only one available that you could get that looked like Michael Myers. And I just wanted it so bad. And I remember going in like there was a plaza near me that had like a grocery store and a bunch of other stores in it, and they had like a H&R Block, like accounting, whatever. But every September or October, it would turn into an offshoot of a place that was downtown called Arlene's Costumes. So they would take over the store, and it was really small, but it was packed with costumes, and the masks just line the top of the whole store. And I would walk in and just stare at them, and that the mask always stood out to me, the Michael Myers mask. I mean, it's not from any particular movie because they didn't really have the rights or whatever, but plus it was a William Shatner mask. But I just remember having to save up my money and getting it and prizing that thing. And again, I still have it today, and it's still prized today. And just because it's one of those weird, like, I don't know, talismans from my childhood, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I have a shit ton of stuff left over from my childhood from like Halloween, but it's probably all in my grandparents' attic. But there's these I made these scarecrow heads with my dad when I had to be like 6 or something. But I was obsessed with Beavis and Butthead. So we made them these jack-o'-lantern faces, like Beavis and Butthead face. Like their faces looked like Beavis and Butthead, but they were jack-o'-lanterns, and we made them like have like word word balloons that have like funny phrases in them and stuff, and like they were like picking their nose and shit like that. They were just these like funny like scarecrow things that we made. So yeah, that was probably that reminds me a lot of like like the ideal time to be a kid and being pumped for Halloween, so yeah.
You just made me think, not related to Crowheads or anything, but I used to like to draw like haunted houses with traps and stuff. But I remember literally at one point in my life, because you being a kid, you think things differently. I had a booby trap, and it was literally 2 nooses that were at chest level, and because I was thinking like you'd catch boobs in them, which looking back is extremely stupid, but I guess it could technically work.
Like you drop through the door and they
hang from their boobs.
Yeah, they get pulled up by them.
Oh my god!
Yeah, sounds a little sadistic.
It sounds gross.
Well, I'll go back in time and have a talk with my younger self. Maybe you should.
You have any idea how that works?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Hey, I did want to show one toy commercial, and this is something I think I was a little bit too old for, but I should have played with it. There we go.
They're squirmy and wormy and purple and green, the grossest little creatures that you've ever seen. Creepy crawlers. Build a monster mold with the colored plastic goop and make a creepy crawler from a yucky monster soup. They're ucky, yucky, squirmy, wormy, very scary, sometimes hairy, squiggly, wiggly, creepy crawling. Creepy crawlers. Gross out your sister, embarrass your dad. You can be a little creep without being bad.
Creepy Crawlers Workshop with plastic goof.
Anyone ever have those?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Nope.
Man, yeah, that was the shit back then.
Yeah, I think that was like the early 90s or so. So I think I just missed that.
Yeah, me too.
Unfortunately.
I never had that, but I had my from my uncle who was younger than my mom, so he kind of had toys that kind of like were still at my grandma's house, and he used to have these metal molds. Some of them were like military stuff, like shovels and stuff, but I think there was some that were like skeletons or something, and they were metal, and we used to put Play-Doh in them or something.
Yeah, it was just like it was like a little light that just heated up those things. It was kind of like how like the Easy Bake Oven works, just this fucking strong light. But like those were those toys you'd get, and I think I played with them like twice, but like then you're like, what else? You make these little rubber things. Like no one's actually scared of them. Like, you try to do the commercial and then
that dad was scared twice in the same commercial.
My dad was like, get that shit out of here, dude. I'm gonna fucking step on that. Or
I'm scared about the mess it's going to make.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Who's going all over the place? That's freaking me out.
Yeah, that's how I would feel about it. If I, like if I got something for my kid like that, I'm like, man, there's gonna be goo everywhere, so, but yeah. They were definitely way cooler in the commercial.
Yeah, nice, pretty catchy song too.
Yeah,
I remember the logo too. I recognized that, but yeah, it was a little bit past me. A little bit.
You just missed out.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do another commercial and one question about this one.
Once again, foolish friends, Freddy Krueger is on your phone. Dial this number now. I've got some tales to tell. Freddy's favorite bedtime stories. Dead time stories. All brand new, straight from my boiler room to your home. It's Freddy Krueger on your phone. So dial this number now if you dare. Tell him Freddy sent you.
$2 the first minute, 45 cents each additional minute. Children, get your parents' permission before you dial.
Get the permission first.
Yeah, right.
Mom, can I call Freddy?
Did anyone ever call any of these types of things before? How was it? I never did.
No, I never called Freddy.
No, you never called Freddy?
No, I called Freddy. That was probably the only one that I ever did. And it's like, what was it, 99 cents the first minute and like a $30 additional minute. It's like crazy. No, it was, I remember being on the phone. I remember calling my parents' bedroom, and I guess I got permission first. I don't remember. unless they got the phone bill and were pissed. I can't remember, but it was fine. It was just, I forgot even what it was. It was like he just told some story or something, and it was like, okay, like it really. I mean, the commercial was cooler than I think the phone call. I will say, sidebar, I actually have this on tape because it was during the Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 documentary that they showed on TV before the movie came out. There was a commercial, and it was Freddy, and he's talking about Freddy's Nightmares because it's Friday nights 11 or whatever, and I just love watching that show.
Yeah.
But the commercial, he goes, join me Friday nights, Freddy's Nightmares, the typical shit. And then he's like, I love Rochester, New York, with a can of worms, because I'm living from Rochester, New York, and he's talking about the can of worms, which is the highway here. Used to be called that. But the fact that he mentioned where I live, like, amazed me and freaked me out. I'm sure he did like 100 of those that day. I love Richmond, Virginia. I love, whatever. But to me as a 12-year-old, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. But I would have to say that Hotline was like, meh. I think you can hear it on YouTube. I think they have the whole thing on YouTube.
Oh, let's check that out.
Yeah.
If
You don't
I
have
dare.
to pay 99 cents or $2.99 after the first minute. So
Do I that's my dad still though. Dad, can I go on YouTube and watch
He's
this
gonna get
video?
well, when you dial up the AOL, he'll know.
Yeah. Wait, I still use dial-up. How'd you know?
Go get that phone bill.
Yeah, 56K over here, motherfuckers.
Oh wow, that's like crazy.
Yeah, big time. All right, so make sure I didn't miss anything. I think that's really the last thing coming up here. It might be a couple parts, but I want to show two of the commercials. One of them because it pertains to me, and I'm going to be a selfish asshole. But so I'm going to show two local haunted attraction things. So the first one is one that I used to go to, and then there's one I thought was kind of funny.
It's official. The critics' decision is in.
Spooky World is spooktacular.
Enter the new black hole.
If you dare.
Or the new horror House of Wax. This year, don't miss the real Jason, Bobby Pickett, or Alice Cooper. Phone the 24-hour Spooky World hotline. 508-838-0200. That's 508-838-0200. Spooky World is just west of Boston and haunts every night from October 1st till November 1st. If you had the nerve, you'd phone 508-838-0200.
It's America's horror theme park, Spooky World.
So I used to go to Spooky World in like the mid to late 90s.
Did you meet Bobby Pickett?
I actually saw him perform the Monster Mash while I waited in line for the hayride.
Oh my god, that's
and
hilarious.
Tiny Tim.
Damn.
And I did meet Kane Hodder. Actually, they didn't charge for autographs. You could just, after you went through a haunted barn, there they were at an autograph table. I think I met Linnea Quigley. I almost met Elvira, but I was about 10 people away, and she got up. She apologized that she had to pee and left, and she never came back. So,
oh no.
And Robert Englund too. I have my autographs from Robert Englund and Kane Hodder from that. But yeah, it was like haunted hay rides and just the walkthroughs where they jump out and scare you. But that was, and they say about just west of Boston, meaning about 2 hours west of Boston. It was not. It was like an hour away from Worcester, where I used to live, which was an hour away from Boston. So,
wow.
But it was a lot of fun. Did you any of you have like anything like that where you grew up?
No, as a kid in the Midwest, we didn't. I mean, there was probably something, but I don't. Besides, like a spook house at like a carnival that came through or something.
Yeah,
it was never anything like that big for me. Like in the 80s, no.
Yeah, I know it's like different nowadays. It's like everywhere, but I know, 30 some odd years ago it was a different story. Like that was a big deal back then. It was weird. It was actually literally on someone's farm. It wasn't like a complex or a new building. It was someone's farm where they decided to do it. And you had to park in their cornfield to get there. Anyone else, or was that?
Yeah, I mean that's how I grew up. Like we had the haunted hay rides. So
yeah,
there was one that's pretty close to me. It's about 10 minutes away. It's on someone's farm. The other one's on someone's farm as well, but it's about 30 minutes away, and they kind of do a thing where you get off the hayride and you go through the woods. You have to go through a maze, and then you come out. And then the one closest to me, that was always fun to do. It's still fun to do. I actually got to take my kids to it. I don't know if we've ever been on it with the kids, but when I went on it when I was a kid, I was in my sophomore year, and I was someone jumped on, they had masks on, and then one came right up to my face and he said my name. He's like, Ben, I'm gonna get you, and I was freaking me out. Come to find out it was my sister's friend's brother, so I found out later, but that was hilarious. But I just love the whole atmosphere around those hay rides on a chilly October night, and you're getting hot cider and donuts, and you're waiting in line, and it's cold, but yet you don't care because you're out. I don't know. It's just the crisp nights. I just love it.
Yes. You didn't have Bobby Pickett performing at yours?
No.
I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, or Alice Cooper or Kane Hodder.
Yeah, I didn't see Alice Cooper, unfortunately.
I just love that it's Kane Hodder, Alice Cooper, and Bobby Pickett. Like, one of these is not like the other.
Hey, I'm sure he was like, a paycheck? Sure, I'll be there.
Oh, sure, man. Monster Cash.
That's right.
Yeah, we had a bunch of stuff like that around here. We had there's a rinky dink amusement park which is still fucking running called Camden Park, and it had this thing called the Haunted Tunnel, or no, this is like the haunted. This is just a haunted house, and I remember going through it as a kid, and it was like a a track ride. There's like things like neon lights that would like jump out at you and shit. It was really scary, but what's scary is that there was a story that a kid got bit by a rattlesnake in there, so it like freaked everybody the fuck out. Like, I was totally terrified of that thing. We had another thing called the Haunted Tunnel, which was like there's this like hill where a train used to go through. It's like a train tunnel. Well, the train doesn't run on it anymore, so it's just like a walk through, and I was always too scared to go in it, but I remember my dad went through it and got me a shirt, and it said I survived the haunted tunnel. It had this like really cool like skeleton thing on there. But yeah, there was always like a lot of like lore around these like haunted attractions around here. Like, they're like so scary. Like, I would always hear like, like Jason's in there with a machete, or the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like, Leatherface is in there like with an actual chainsaw and he gets in your face. But I was always too scared to go as like a little kid. But now we have like a bunch of shit like that around here. We have like a thing called Fallsburg. It's like they have like zombie fucking shooting shit. You can paintball zombie people like that are zombies. I imagine that hurts. Hate to be that guy. But yeah, there's like a zombie thing. I mean, there's like haunted shit all the time. Cornfields. But yeah, before it was just like we had these couple little things that were just like super, super creepy. And if you were like really young, you'd always hear about like the older teenagers going to it, and they're always telling you how fucking scary it is. Like, you'll piss your pants, you know what I mean? If you go in there, don't even fuck with it, So yeah, we had a lot of shit like that.
Nice. I was going to ask, you kind of mentioned already, if you had ever had any like favorite actual like amusement rides that would be in that, like, local amusement park that had like a haunted house or like, haunted mine ride or shit like that. I mean, I know there are these big corporate things, but I'm a fan of the Haunted Mansion at Disney World. I don't know if anyone's been on that before, but I fucking love it, and I don't care if I'm getting judged for it. My wife makes fun of me, whatever. It's like the immense amount of detail that goes into that. I mean, I haven't been on it for about 10 years now, but I think the last time I went out, they had just done some improvements, and one of it is the part. It's like an Escher painting, stairways going everywhere, and like footsteps just appear in it. And it's awesome. I love it.
I have a piece of the wallpaper from that, like a big,
like actual.
Yeah.
How'd you get that? Did you steal it while you were on the ride?
No, there was someone that I know that no longer works there, not because of this or anything, but he was a friend of mine, and customer and friend, and he found out I was in Florida with my kids. This was several years ago, and he's like, "Hey, I'll give you the behind the scenes thing." So he let us into the employee entrance, and what I loved about that was that the employee entrance and area is still decked out like the Haunted Mansion. Like it's even where the employees hang their like coats or whatever. It's like it's not just some like white room, with whatever. So it's pretty neat. And we were able to kind of walk through and then get right on the ride as we like bypassed the entire crowd. It was awesome. But then later that year, I think it was probably a Christmas or something, he sent me a gift, and it was a I don't know how he got it, but it was a large chunk of the wallpaper that they used on the wall.
The purple with the eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's neat. I just have it rolled up. I gotta like frame it or something, but it's pretty cool. But I mean, honestly, Disney or not, it doesn't matter. That ride, it still stands the test of time, and I'll go on it as many times as I possibly can when I'm in the park.
Yes. How about, I'm just curious, Tower of Terror, Twilight Zone, Tower of Terror?
I love Tower of Terror.
No, you can't do drops, Mark?
No, I did.
Oh.
Hopefully it's not a spoiler alert for anybody, but the new Star Wars ride, it's pretty much a drop. And
I hate
one of my
drops
daughters
too,
were
man.
both like, when the thing went up, we're like,
Yeah.
both of us were like, oh shit, it's gonna drop at some point. And yep, sure enough, at the end, it's like, boop. So,
When he gets shot out
my
into
stomach
space.
can't handle those.
Yeah,
I didn't
that's the
like-
only thing I like don't fuck with is drops, man. I just can't handle the.
I
I'll
do the
still
drops.
ride them if they're not too tall. Like if I'm like, oh man, I don't think I can like. I like there's a less chance of me splatting on the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if they're like Doctor Doom's at Universal, I'll ride that. I've never got to ride Tower. of
Wait a minute,
Terror,
that's
though.
pretty tall.
There's one in up here at Kings Island, and it's called Drop Zone. It's like I can't even think about it, dude. It's so high. I've never ridden it, and I never will. Like, but yeah,
Does it
Dr. Doom
matter?
is so scary too, though.
Would it matter at the Tower of Terror? It's like it's kind of inside for the most
Yeah.
part. Like
I mean,
you
it's
get to the
pitch
top,
black until they open the doors and then you fall. It's awesome.
yeah, you can see outside, but you're enclosed.
You see inside for the first second, and then you drop into darkness.
I'll
Yeah, it's
go,
a-
but I'll scream.
And it's
Oh,
also
it's
it's a partial dark ride too. I mean, you stop and you look out through a hallway, and these like ghostly apparitions appear, and then it turns into outer space, like the opening of the show. And then you go through this little part where you can like see imagery. It's oh my
It's
god,
trippy.
thinking about it. Yeah, it's. I try it once if you ever have the chance to.
I will. I'll try it
Do
once,
it.
definitely.
I can do the I can't do spinning things. I can't do anymore. That's my
Yeah,
weakness.
spinning, I don't like either.
Yeah, like I think as a kid I could tolerate it, but then like one year we had Candy Blake Park is in New Hampshire. It's close enough by, and they have a thing called the Turkish Twist. It's like one of those rooms where you spin and you stick to the walls. And I got off that. It was like a middle school field trip or something, and by the time I got home, just vomiting from that. So all done. I couldn't even go. We took our son to a kid amusement park a couple years ago, and it was like these like little hot air balloon things where it spins around. You can also spin your car. You can control it. One of those kinds. I did that, and I was like, "Oh, bad idea." Doing this because I love my son. That's it. But so I got very excited about my rides, and I talked a lot about them. Did anyone else want to talk about any kind of spooky ride at all?
I love like amusement parks when they do their like Halloween stuff. I used to go to Kings Island up here, and then my mom lives in Florida, so when we'd go down there to visit, or if I was like living with her at the time, I would we'd go to Busch Gardens, which has a fucking awesome thing called Howl-O-Scream, and
in Florida.
yeah, in
I was there
Florida.
once in like '89. They still have the Kumba roller coaster.
Yeah, the Kumba. That's like oh man, that one's like it's like a rickety hill one. Yeah, the Kumba. Yeah, they got a
Yeah.
bunch of really good ones now. But at night, they're so awesome because the place is open to like 2 a.m. Not only are they like super scary walkthroughs, but there's you ride the rides, and there's this ride called Shikra, and so you like see all the scary stuff in the whole park, and you go up and you go around this like little curve, and you literally see the whole skyline of Tampa, like, and it's like you're like super tall, and you do like almost a 90 degree drop, and yeah, it's super scary. They have everything all decked out Halloween style. Just awesome good fun.
Nice. I had one more thing. At the same park that had that ride that you stick to the walls, they have a haunted mine ride there, and it's not at all scary, of course. But it has like a backstory that it's just like this old mining tunnel that it's closed for whatever reason. But and you go through and there's like antics with miners, like I have a stick of dynamite, and then like fake explosions. Then you take one turn, and for some reason, unexplained, you're in a Egyptian tomb. All of a sudden. And then you take another turn, and then you're back in the wacky miners again, playing checkers in the water and stuff. It didn't make any sense. No mention of it again. It was just bizarre. But yeah. So if you're ever in Candy Lake Park, New Hampshire, check it out.
That's a must see.
It is. And one last thing, Edwin actually supplied a commercial that he was fond of the Halloween nature. And then we can wrap it up. So here we go.
Now it's time for the Pizza Head Show.
Hey everybody, I'm done trick-or-treating and now I'm gonna go for a stuffed crust pizza at Pizza Hut. Yay!
Not yet, Pizza Head. There's one more place to go.
I don't think anyone's home.
Sure there is.
Whoa, trick-or-treat! Interesting hieroglyphics on this pizza.
Quick, Pizza Head, let's go upstairs.
Hey, who is here anyway?
It's your host, Count Steve.
Oh, nice place. You got it. I want to go to Pizza Hut now.
The Count will be happy to give you a lift.
Hey, put it down! Put it down!
See you next time.
That was good shit. Good shit.
Next take up Mr. Bill.
Yeah.
Pizza, Mr. Bill.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember those. And that seemed like that something would have been in my wheelhouse because I used to watch so much TV at that time. Although after talking about I want pizza, I want pumpkin bread, I want pumpkin cake pie, I want Twinkies, Demi Wall, I want lattes, I want everything. But that was it. I had more, but we've already gone an hour, and that's a lot. But thanks all for doing this and having some fun talking about old stuff and having some nice memories.
Yeah.
This is a clear picture too, in case you're ever interested in seeking it out.
I think I have that.
You can see it better. Yeah. Wait, who
I
has
do
it?
have that one. Yeah.
Oh, you do have that one. Do you have that one, or do you have the white with the purple lettering?
I might have them both. I definitely have that one though.
Ooh,
I got a bunch of the. Yeah, I have
Fancy
a
man.
few. Yeah, I could have the other one, but definitely I have that one for sure.
Do you have your spooky party hats?
Oh, I don't know if I have that one.
Oh, all right. I was gonna have to borrow it because I lost mine. All right then. I guess I'll just show you this picture of the singer from Accept because he's handsome. There we go. And happy Halloween. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right.
Happy
See you
Halloween.
later.